Hello, good evening, and welcome back to the Invictus Racing League IRL F1 League. It's myself, Gareth, joined as always by my co-commentator Sab. How are you doing, buddy?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. We are back here, Brazil tonight. One of my favourite tracks, not only to commentate on alongside you, but to race round as well. Usually we have some fantastic races, don't we? And last time out when we raced round here, we had a mixture of weathers. They were similar to last week's race around Germany, and White Fountain showing us how it's all done in those mixed conditions. So hopefully, fingers crossed tonight when we're going into this race, we have something similar to what we've had before when we've been commentating on this race. Some spectacular overtaking, maybe some intermittent weather like we had last week, and overall some just great racing, because so far these guys, I think, have put on a hell of a show as we've got to round six.
Yeah, unbelievably so. Like, they've just been knocking it out of the park every single week over the last 5 rounds. Of course, it is round 6 tonight, which takes us up to that 50% mark in the season. We've got a 1 week break to let the drivers recover next week, so no racing next week, but gives them plenty of time to get started and get practicing up for Hungary in 2 weeks' time. So yeah, final race of the first half of this season. And Sab, we were saying just before the stream and earlier today, it has absolutely flown by. And what a start to this season we've had.
Oh, most definitely. There's way too many moments to point out in terms of overtakes, racing, just the close action. We've had all sorts, and mixed conditions, like I've just said. It's been absolutely fascinating so far. And yes, Gamer is quite sitting very pretty at the top, but we've had fantastic racing throughout the whole field. It's not like it's just been all focused at the front. I've been looking further down the field in the fighting for the 11th and 14th places, and you've had 3, 4 cars within a second of each other. The racing has been absolutely superb. I just wish we could have more camera angles and more ability to be able to show you even more of the action, because throughout the whole of the races so far this season, it's just been superb.
Yeah. And round 6 does take us, as you say, to Brazil, to Interlagos and the Jose Carlos Pache Autodromo. And it is an absolutely iconic circuit. Of course, many famous moments we've seen around here in the past in F1, not only in IRL F1, but of course in real life as well. So as you say, last 2 times we've been here, we've had that intermittent rain affected races where White Fountain has done very nicely in both. Last season it was Hercules that just about managed to hold him off in the late stages, where I believe it was White Fountain that stuck it out on those intermediate tyres throughout a wet stage, ran through what was definitely a heavy rain section towards the end of the race when it started to peter out, and yeah, Fountain just ran out of laps and missed out on snatching the win away from the German. And I'm sure that's something Hercules will be having his eye on once again this evening, because CRG Gamer and Harry are starting to stretch their legs in this championship, and the likes of Hercules, who of course missed out on the championship by the smallest of margins last season, he'll be looking for a little bit of redemption tonight.
Oh, most definitely. And like you say, Hercules is pretty good around this track, isn't he? And he'll be hoping tonight to rectify how this season has gone for him, because by his standards, it's been pretty average, to be fair. And I just want to say as well, you can also say the same for our current champion, and that's Jean Palainen. We've often seen him this season like the bottom end of the top 10, not really at the very front where we are used to seeing him last season, how dominant he was last season. So it's really mixed up, hasn't it, this season? But like you say, Gamer and Harry are both starting to build a little bit of a gap now, and I think Harry, especially tonight, will be hoping to get one over Gamer, so that gap between him and Gamer doesn't increase as well, because the longer that goes, where Gamer keeps eking out these ever so slightly extra points, it's going to make it even more difficult for Harry to catch up.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, Gamer leads that championship by 11 points with 3 wins out of the first 5 races. And we go to qualifying, and it's slightly overcast but blue skies above Interlagos this evening. You can see 19 drivers join us on the grid this evening. Unfortunately, the Warrislander unable to join us, so that was one less Ferrari to tackle the Autodromo Jose Carlos Pache. It's a 4.3 kilometre circuit, 2.6 miles anti-clockwise corner. Of course, that iconic first centre S, the downhill left, left, right, left, and it features one of the longest pit lanes in Formula One. Of course, the pit lane all the way filters down through turn 1, 2 and turn 3, exiting onto the straight, the Reta Aposta, down towards turn 4. We've got 42 gear changes per lap over a 36 lap race, full throttle for 62% of that lap. It's one of those tracks, there's a lot of undulation, there's a lot of inclines, declines, off camber corners, and we've got plenty of drivers peeling out of the pit lane now, and we'll go on board with the first man who's usually out on track, and he's done it once again, and it is Hercules. So the man in the McLaren has got out there, and he'll be looking at setting a decent banker. You can see a lot of drivers have put the Redwood soft tyres on, and tonight the softs are the C3s, the mediums are the C2s, and the hards are the C1 compound of tyre. And Hercules, we were talking before, of course, race winner last season, didn't manage to actually start on the pole. The pole actually went to Jumpalainen on the soft tyres of a time of 1 minute 8:099. But Sab, we've seen some practice from some of these guys in the week. Are we expecting pole to dip into the 7s?
You would imagine so from the inklings we've been getting. You'd imagine 107.5, 107.6. That'd be incredible if one of them could pull something out of. And I have to say that leads me nicely on to the person I was going to talk about, and that is KJ Eltink 7. He has been absolutely phenomenal with his qualifying so far. Unfortunately, his race pace has just let him down ever slightly, as you've seen last week when he was really trying to give it to Gamer and unfortunately dropped out under that safety car period. But KJ, since he's come into this league, has really shown us over a 1 lap distance, he's really one to beat.
Yeah, he really is, and he's actually, I've just got the stat up here, he's, as you say, taken the last 2 pole positions by an average of 0.138 of a second. So we'll see if the Dutchman can do that again and take away pole position from what was, it has been, CRG Gamer for the last 2 times. It's been sitting alongside him on the front row of the grid. We've got Hercules coming up the hill now to complete his first flying lap. The German coming around. You want to you're essentially crawling up against the wall, make the track as short as possible. It's a 108.2. Great banker there from the German.
I'm just keeping an eye on his teammate, FPL Charlie, and this is a problem, isn't it? Because this is a relatively short track, you're going to come across a lot of traffic, and that is what Charlie's come across at the moment. He's just coming round now to head towards the start-finish line. A bit of a wobble on there. CRG Gamer then trumps VL Hercules' time with a 108 flat there, but Charlie now coming across the line, set his first flying lap. What is he going to do? And it's a 109.3, so work to be done there for Charlie, but I think minus all that traffic, you could imagine Charlie's going to be going a lot quicker.
CRG Gamer sets the provisional pole time with just under 4 minutes done in the session. It's just a smidge over 68 seconds, so it's 2/10 faster than anyone else on track. You saw the Williams both working together. Expect to see that as throughout the session. And Harry gets up into 3rd position, 2nd row of the grid at 108.251. Samuel Pitto in 4th. Ice-T in 5th position currently, alongside his Mercedes teammate TL44S, who had a fantastic result last week, picking up 6th position. Jumpalainen in 7th, 109.3. We're on board with KJ Eltink. He went purple in Sector 1 and in Sector 2. He snatched a little bit of slipstream off of the Renault. He's trying to get some off the Williams going into the pit lane, looking for as much time as possible, riding that wall. What can he do? It's only the front row of the grid. 10 thousandths of a second splits the current top 2 in the standings.
Mouth-watering start, isn't it? That not bad for first laps there. 10 thousandths of a second between CRG Gaming, KJ Eltink, and wow, we are aiming for one hell of a qualifying if it's going to be that close. Many of the guys at the moment in the 108, so I imagine they will be going much quicker. There's not many out there, just looking through the order, out there on the alternate tyre or even the hard tyre. Only Speed Queen's currently out there on the hard tyre. She's going quicker at the moment. She's obviously trying to get a few laps in to get used to the track. You've got Adri Lockdock and Lozak just down the order as well on medium tyres. So everybody at the moment favouring that soft tyre. As Speed Queen backs out of that lap, she's staying in 14th place.
And just had noticed that it's meant to be all dry throughout both sessions, but we had that in F3, I believe it was a few weeks ago, and we were told it was all dry, and unfortunately we had rain at the end. So who knows? Of course, in Interlagos you can get a rain shower appear from absolutely nowhere, just bubbling in over the city. As Agile Octot looks like he's gone purple in sector 2 there, but he's on the medium, so I discount that. I wouldn't expect to see the Toro so hitting the top of the standings on the medium competitive time. In fact, he's gone just about misses the Alfa Romeo that was crawling up the hill, and Adri, that's going to have cost him possibly just a little bit of a fright. Might need to go and change his overalls after appearing at the top of the hill and having an Alfa Romeo right in his view. So yeah, the Spaniard currently without a lap time, down in 18th position.
Some of the guys who've just set their time are already back out. It's a quick in and out, isn't it, here? And you can usually get yourself a few laps in. And you see Hercules, Sam, Ice-T are all back out. FPL Charlie and Burmeister are all back out on soft tyres as well. So everybody not messing about at the front end of the grid so far. Straight onto soft tyres. They want to try and get as quick a bank lap as possible. I'm going to keep an eye on Sam Pavito at the moment. He's looked good this season. In the last few races, I think he's just got about his business the right way, kept it clean, no mistakes, no picking up penalties, and it's come with reward, hasn't it? He went well last week, and I think going well tonight could be another step forward for Sam as he tries to catch up with the top three in the championship.
Absolutely, and Sam is, of course, has the best qualifying result of third, which he picked up in the UAE, but unfortunately invalidates on the first corner. Very easy to do here, but we'll check in with some of the other drivers that are out there on a flyer. In fact, we'll go on board with the Mercedes of Ice-T, currently in 6th position, would be his best qualifying so far this season, and Ice-T has maybe not lit up the standings like we thought he might do when he first joined us, especially not as we joined at the same time as KJ, and KJ, of course, is doing very nicely for himself. And we'll see where else we've got CLG Gamer coming down towards turn 4 now. So Gamer is currently going around coming into the second sector, so we'll catch up with Gamer in a few corners time as he rounds out towards the end of this lap. But we'll stick with Ice-T for now, and Mercedes now coming up towards the end of the second sector at turn 10 down towards turn 11 at Mugello, and it's very long left-hander off camber, very easy to run out wide, just about misses the Racing Point, which is backing off ready to go for a flyer, and the Mercedes puts pedal to the metal, floors it all the way up to the top of the hill, tries to use all the horses inside the engine, all of the electrical battery. What can he do? Can he improve on the 108.5? He's going to come across the line. He moves up to 108.2, moves up one position, displaces Sammy Pepito.
The Williams boys are at it again, and that jumps Scott. You might recognise Scott. Scott used to be known as Boy Better Know, but he's changed his name now. He's got his full name in there now. He's just been doing the famous Williams tow. We're going to have to call it the famous Williams tow because they seem to be doing it every week now. Harry giving Scott a nice tow there. Does boost him up to P8, but he was saying to me earlier in the practice I was in, he's struggling for that one lap pace around here, so he believes he might be at the lower end of the top 10. So imagine, if anything, he could try and boost his teammate Harry for a tow later on in the session and try and push Harry further up to the front row of the grid as Harry now coming round for probably his turn as Scott is in P8.
As Hercules improves on his time but holds position, so gets himself half a tenth behind CLG Gamer. Went purple in sector 2, unfortunately not quite good enough. Harry's improving, but it's only by 0.03 of a second. He's currently on the second row of the grid alongside Hercules, and he's going to need to make up a lot of time dragging up this hill if he's to challenge Hercules, and he doesn't. It's only a 1/100th of a improvement on his first flying lap. 8 minutes and 30 seconds left to go in the session. Plenty of time for changes.
That thought of a 107 just seems to be slightly out of reach right now, doesn't it? Everybody just struggling on their second run there. They are improving, but just not by much. Gamer still sitting up there with a 108.001. And talking of Gamer, he's just come out of the pits on a set of soft tyres. So this will be Gamer's next run. Be interested to see if he can dip into that 107s on this run.
Yep, and Gamer has got plenty of time. Just under 8 minutes left to go if he is to hold on to this provisional pole position that he's currently taking by 100th of a second. So yeah, KJ Eltink will be equally thinking about coming out and improving on that time. Of course, the track will be improving second upon second for the rest of the session. It was very green at the start, so I would expect to see some of these guys really go for it, especially as the timer gets down towards the 1 to 2 minute mark. Of course, you can easily get 4 runs in here with the track being so short. Just on board with Adri as he comes across the line, be able to set a competitive time. Adri up to 13th position in the Toro Rosso, behind teammate Beck 9000. 2 Toro Rossos have had a torrid first half of the season so far, haven't they? What can they do in the second half of the season?
Well, you would hope they could try and improve any way possible. Like you say, it's been a really tough season for them, and if they could just get to a point where they're regularly scoring points, even if it's just in bottom end of the top 10, that would be an improvement for them. For their sake, I hope they can improve, because they have the pace in them. We've seen pace before, especially the likes of Adri Lockdock. He has proved to us before he can get in there. It's just all about that consistency, isn't it? I'm just riding on board with CRG Gaming now. He's on his next flying lap now. You've got KJ Eltink as well, already about to go for his next flying lap. What can CRG Gamer do here?
Yep, Gamer coming up to turn 10. And of course, you want to make sure you're taking all these lines perfectly. He's got a little bit of traffic up ahead, which probably won't hinder him. If anything, might give him just a slight bit of a tow. He's going just a fraction under 400ths of a second faster, which would extend his current lead and get him into the 67 second mark. Comes across the line. Where can Gamer go? Can he hold on to the position? Can he go fast? He does. It's a 107.935. Great improvement there from the Renault driver, and the gauntlet is well and truly thrown down to KJ Eltink and the likes of Hercules and Harry.
KJ Eltink, I've just flicked over to him, has just gone purple in the first sector, so whatever CRG Gamer can do, it looks like KJ Eltink is going to respond, and at the moment he's just in that middle sector now. Just similar to CRG Gamer, he does have a little bit of traffic ahead of him, but I can't imagine that's going to hinder him. So, like with Gamer, this could slightly help him know the traffic is probably just a bit too far, as he's now gone purple in the second sector as well. So what can KJ do now as he runs up that really long, high run up towards the start-finish track? What can he do? He's tucking right in up against the wall. He's just clipped the wall. Wow, and he still goes faster. That is incredible. 107.734. That is what a lap time that is. But he clipped the pit wall then. I'm positive he did, and he still went faster. That is just phenomenal.
He was so close. If he was probably left a lot of that the Pirelli markings on the side of the wall. You saw him having to sway out to the right-hand side of the track to make sure he didn't collect the wall completely, and that's probably cost him a tenth, or even half a tenth, or if not a tenth of a second. So yeah, KJ Eltink, a 107.7, even with that late dive out of the way of the concrete barrier, he's currently snatched pole position off of Gamer. And I said the gauntlet had been thrown down by Gamer. Well, KJ Eltink has picked it up and put it on, and he's very much Thanos, and he's about to let rip with another flying lap, I'm sure, in about 2 minutes time. We've got more drivers out on track. Scopefielder in 7th position. He's got his teammate Foxy Red 2000 behind him on the grid. These the Alfa Romeo pair as they come up the hill. Scopefielder, after his time away, of course, the most successful driver in IRL, 23 victories. Only second, or in second, I should say, is CRG Gamer, who can get up to 21 tonight with a victory and get 2 behind Scopefielder. So what can these guys do? Harry moves up into 3rd position there. So Harry improves by just under a quarter of a second. So much better from the Williams driver.
Yeah, and I was keeping an eye on Harry there. Hercules, he went out on another run and he was down on his sector, but what helped Harry was he got a nice tow up that hill from the McLaren driver, and as Hercules dived into the pits, giving up on that lap, Harry managed to at least gain a tenth or two going up that hill, so a nice lap there, and it's not that far off CRG Gamer, but at the moment KJ, he really has set the marker down, as he, we're at 107.7, and if he comes out and doesn't brush the wall next time, you imagine he's going to go even quicker.
And just like to make note, I'd like to congratulate Cliffy7765. Currently he's in 11th position, which would comfortably be his best qualifying position so far. He's holding a very strange record of finishing in the points, but hasn't qualified higher than 18th so far this season. So Cliffy showing that if he can put the time in qualifying, he can actually get himself probably into a battle for a podium, if not the race victory. So yeah, the man in the Racing Point is currently just outside of that top 10, so you'll be able to start on fresh tyres if he wants to, as drivers start to come out the pit lane. KJ Ontic and Gamer out on their final outlaps before the end of the session. So yeah, Cliffy possibly putting himself into contention for some more decent points tonight after that probably unenvious record.
Yeah, most definitely. And we were talking earlier, wasn't we, about how amazing this season's been. You could probably just have a camera on Cliffy for the whole of this season. The amount of action and overtakes he's been involved in. It's been superb to see him come from the back. And like you say, if he can qualify further up, you'd imagine he's going to go really well into the points. So based on 11th place tonight, I wouldn't put it past him to see him on the podium. But Cliffy, if he can improve on what he's done so far, he's definitely going to be one to keep an eye on later on. But as you can see, with a minute and 40 seconds on the clock, everybody's coming out now for their finals, except I believe they're coming out now. Sorry, so a few of them others that looked like they were still in the pits, but they are coming out of the pits now. So everybody out for their final runs.
90 seconds left to go in qualifying. We've got both Renaults on a flyer coming into sector 2. CRG Gamer going quicker by just under a tenth of a second. He's going to need to find 2/10 if he's to usurp KJ from the current provisional pole position. KJ has just started his flying lap as well. Jumpalainen, you can see last season's pole sitter in 18th position, a 109.3 for the Finn. So currently the Renaults almost topping and tailing the standings. Jumpalainen's going to need to use this lap to get up, and in fact he might help out his teammate ever so slightly with a slight smattering of a toe down this back straight in towards the line. Jumpalainen crosses the line, doesn't improve. Here comes Gamer, equally cannot improve his position, improves the time, but it's half a tenth away from KJ. So KJ, unless the battle comes from Harry, Ice-T or Hercules, looks as though he might have taken pole position. Harry's coming up to the line now. Can he improve on his time? KJ's coming up to the line. Can he improve on the 107.7? He comes across the line, doesn't improve, and so that means we've got Ice-T now up into 4th position. Great lap from Ice-T there. Hercules is not improving, the German driver. He is going to come across the line much further down from his time. So as Cliffy, 3rd position for the second Racing Point. Great lap there. He dips into the 67 mark, and there Samu comes across the line, improves but doesn't improve position. Scott is going slightly slower, so currently in 8th position, which would be his joint worst qualifying result of the season if he maintains 8th. Who else is out on track? We've got the 2 Renaults once coming round to come into the box, I would imagine. So we'll stick in with the Williams, and Scott in fact has bailed out of that lap. So Scott's bailed out. We've got Scope in 9th position. He's going slightly faster. He's going 16 thousandths of a second faster on his time. So that would snatch 9th place off of White Fountain, who's crossed the line. So Fountain not improving, the man who's finished on the podium last 2 times we've been here in Belgium, as KJ does do a second lap, and it's a 107.3. He's done 2 laps on the soft tyres, and he's gone even quicker on the second one. And I mean, if that's not a statement of intent, I do not know what one is, because he could have quite happily taken pole position as Harry does go above Cliffy, so Harry back up into 3rd position. But if KJ thought he already had pole position sewn up, he's just gone and blown everyone out of the water. That's a 4/10 gap between himself and CRG Gamer going into the race.
Wow, that is just phenomenal, isn't it? I didn't even realise until it popped up that he was going for another lap. I was trying to keep an eye on everybody further down. I was going to tell you that White Fountain made good improvement. He jumped from 17th place up to 9th into the top 10 there. And I also wanted to point out that Schofield and Foxred 2000 both have nearly identical times. Nearly caught me out there. Just 200ths of a second. But yeah, there's so many close times. If you look from like 8th all the way down to 13th and 14th, 14th is barely a tenth or two in it, so lots of close racing anticipated coming up for the race.
Yeah, fantastic qualifying session. It's always close around here. You've got a lap time that's around 67, 68 seconds long, and KJ Eltink makes it 3 in a row. A hat trick of pole positions, a 107.389, an absolutely blistering time from the Dutchman. Takes it by 0.4 of a second to CRG Gamer, who makes it another second position in qualifying. Harry is keeping as close to his title rival as possible in third. Cliffy in fourth. Great qualifying for him. Hercules in fifth. Ice-T in sixth. Samu in seventh. Scott in eighth. Fountain in ninth. Scope in 10th. And outside of the top 10, you've got Foxy, Charlie, TL, Adri, Beck, Speed Queen, Lozak, Jumper Line way down the order in 18th, and Burmeister last of the running order in 19th position. Jumperlinen, he started 16th in Abu Dhabi, and we thought that was a bit of a bit of a poor result for him. So, but yeah, that is way down the order for last season's IRL F1 champion.
It really is, and it just shows you how much of a tough season he has had. I just can't believe to see him right down there. He was, like you mentioned earlier, he was pole position here last season, and now he's near the back row. If not, oh, sorry, on the back row. It's a real eye opener, because I'll be honest with you, I thought he would have put more of a fight this season for his title. You've got the likes of Gamer and KJ coming in and potentially raising their bar, but you'd have thought John Pine would have comfortably been in that top 10, but for some reason we may not know, that John Pine just not finding it comfortable, is he, so far this season? And unless there's going to be a few DNFs and safety cars involved tonight, I would really struggle to see him getting even in the top 5, never mind trying to battle his way into the top 10. So a lot of work to be done for our current champion.
Yeah, absolutely. And another man that's been struggling in qualifying has been FPL Charlie. And Charlie, he's yet to qualify higher than 5th on in the standings. So, yeah, he's starting way down the order. And Charlie, of course, finished on the podium last season. So he's also holding a really, I'm sure he'll be hating this, but he's winless in IRL F1, 17 races without a win, and on a Monday night in 3 seasons, that's including the now defunct No Assist League, he's winless in 29 races. Yet he is a champion. He did take the championship in that first season, a part of the No Assist League, but without a victory. But 29 races on a Monday night, is that pressure getting to him?
Well, you would think so, but I think it's hard for me to say, but you would try and not think of those stats. I know he's probably not going to forgive you for telling him these stats, but yeah, you've got to try and not think about these stats. It's easy. I was talking to you off air just beforehand. It's easy to get into a funk, isn't it, when you're not doing well or not even scoring points. It's easy to really get stuck in that funk and try and get yourself out of it. But I think Charlie just needs to get back to doing what he was doing best. He was very close to race victories, and I'm sure in one race he did actually cross the line first at one point, didn't he? But because of penalties, he lost out. So I think if he can get back to where he was fighting earlier in his Monday night career, then I think he'll be pretty pleased with that. If he can just get close to his teammate, I think is the first target. But at the moment, work to be done for Charlie. But in P12, there's still possibility of scoring good points tonight. We've seen plenty of action, we've seen plenty of safety cars, haven't we, in recent races as well. So as long as you can keep it clean tonight, there is still a good chance for him to score points.
Yep, and on the medium tyres, you can see the top 10, obviously all on the soft rubber that they qualified on. Outside of the top 10, Foxy Red and Burmeister, the only ones deciding to go for the soft rubber. So in 11th and 19th position, then you've got Charlie, Beck, Speed Queen and Jumper Line deciding to go from the middle compound, that's C2 on the medium tyres, and TL44S, Adri and Lozak deciding to run long in this session, and they've gone for the hardest compound of tyre, that hard tyre. And just time whilst we wait for these guys to get around the formation lap, just to keep you up to speed with what's going on in Invictus. And tomorrow night, we have, of course, the IRL Realistic Performance League with Tim and Malc in the commentary box. Wednesday night, 2 races for you. You've got IRL F2 and F3 with Dan and James covering F2, Charlie and Harry covering F3, and of course Sunday nights and 9:30 p.m. on twitch.tv away from YouTube we've got the IRL Xbox League. And so if you want to get involved and you haven't got a PS4, then go over to the website and check us out. We've now got an Xbox League on a Sunday night, so plenty of racing to be done here in Interlagos throughout the rest of this week. And KGL Tink is coming around up to his grid slot and leading the field around for the 3rd time in a row. Of course, the last 2 times it's not gone great for him. Spain, he made it a late pit stop under the VSC, cost him that race victory. And of course last week that dramatic crash under the safety car restart in Germany cost him the chance of fighting for the win with the eventual winner CRG Gamer. But KJ Eltic has got a clear run down to turn 1. He's got CRG Gamer alongside him. CRG Gamer has Harry not too far behind. The engine notes are rising as we get ready to start the Invictus Racing League IRL F1 League round 6 here in Interlagos. We've got 5 lights, we're out and we're underway, and it looks as though it's a good start there for the Racing Point, who comes across to try and cover off the Renault, and it's a great getaway from KJ. CRG Gamer folds into 2nd position. Harry is being attacked by Cliffy. He's going to try and go around the outside. Is there going to be clean racing just about between the pair? But Harry drops down to 4th position, but we've got a yellow and flag in sector 1, possibly for a spinning car, but it looks as though we've had a pretty much clean getaway. Beck is dropped down to 19th position. Looks like he may be the reason why we've got that yellow, but it's a great getaway from KJ, holding on to the lead.
Poor start for Harry as well. He's dropping back behind Hercules, and Sam now putting the real pressure on the Williams driver. Hercules now up into 4th place. Harry, he had a bit of a wheel bang with Cliffy, and it just knocked him slightly, and it'll open the door for Cliffy to get cleanly through in the end. But Sam now applying the pressure on the Williams driver, and this is not good start for Harry. Harry will be wanting to try and stay on the back of CRG Gamer, who's trying to hunt down KJ Elting. But yeah, Harry, if he's going to go for this championship, needs to try and recover quickly.
And we'll see who can get the course. It's one of those tracks that does promote a lot of overtaking, a big, as they call it, DRS train here. So give it a couple of laps when the DRS is activated, and we'll see where the positions start to shake out. But KJ Elting leads us around the first lap. He's got a 0.5 of a second lead over CRG Gamer behind. Hercules is starting to close in on Cliffy for 3rd position. The German driver is he's well versed around here. He's done very nicely in the past, and you can look back and you've got Harry, who after starting 3rd has dropped back to 5th. Scott in 9th position, so Scott not enjoying the start either, so both Williams dropping back off the start.
Yeah, indeed. At the moment, I'm just keeping an eye on White Fountain. He's had a good start as well. So, at the moment, you've got Haas and both the Haas drivers in P6 and P7 at the minute. They're looking really, really good. White Fountain, as we've discussed, is really good around the track. But Sam, at the moment, is keeping on to the back of this little pack at the moment, fighting for 3rd place. Cliffy's just starting to fall away slightly from Gamer now, and it's inviting Hercules to put the pressure on, as we'll be coming up soon to DRS moments, and Harry will be wanting to try and get onto the back of that as well, and to try and capitalise on Cliffy being out of DRS range of Gamer.
Yep, Gamer well in the toe of KJ as we come up towards the first corner to start lap 3. Is he closing in on the Racing Point enough to send it down the inside? Let's have a look. He goes and thinks about it. Oh, not quite, but KJ touches the grass. That's going to hinder him on his exit of both corners, because he's going to be getting a little bit too much wheel spin, and Gamer's going to be able to send it up the inside line. Great line here for Gamer, and he's going to be able to take the lead as Lozak picks up a 5-second time penalty speeding in pit lane, but Gamer takes the lead on lap 3 of 36. And that all stemmed from the Racing Point dipping a tyre into the grass on the entry into turn 1.
Just looking further back, I believe FPL Charlie has had an incident somewhere, because he's now in last place. Lozak also into the pits of FPL Charlie on a brand new set of soft tyres for somewhere in amidst of all the first few laps. Charlie has had an incident, and he's right down the order, so he's going to be relying on the safety car possibly to catch up. But yeah, at the moment it looks like Cliffy now is starting to reel in KJ now, his teammate. Now this will be interesting, won't it? The two teammates battling on track. what will happen there is Hercules is trying to hang on to the back of Cliffy, and he's also bringing along with him Harry, Sam, and White Fountain, and Ice-T.
Yep, the pack is starting to close up, and DRS, of course, is now enabled for everyone. As Gamer does the fastest lap just over at 1:11 there, so the young Brit improving on the fastest lap time. Expect to see that fall considerably as the race goes on, and the CRG man is currently got himself a 0.3 of a second gap, so KJ isn't being dropped by the Renault driver, and Cliffy is starting to hold up somewhat as you see Hercules and Harry queuing up behind this second racing point. So Cliffy, we said if he could get towards the front, he could battle for the podium. Well, that's exactly what we've got. And the man with the pink car and the pink helmet is currently in third position and following his teammate. So it's a great result for Racing Point so far. But behind him, he's got a multi-time winner. In fact, the only man in Invictus history to win 6 races in a season and not win the championship. And behind him, the man that's currently second in the championship, Harry. So these current top 5, as I say that, Sam is not being dropped by them. So the young Spaniard in 6th position is doing quite nicely for himself. Another consistent race hopefully for Sam, but in the head we'll just check in with KJ as he closes in on Gamer, as the two are going to swap positions again. So here comes KJ down the inside of Gamer. There's a little bit of wheel rubbing between the pair, but KJ does get down the inside behind Hercules. Can't quite send it down the inside of Cliffy, so he has to hold on to 4th position. But Gamer and KJ, a little bit of tit for tat between the pair.
There's a mega battle happening here at 7th, and Scott unfortunately touched the back of Ice-T going into the centre section, and that's unfortunately dropped it back, but not enough for Foxy to catch up on him. We've got a mega battle because White Fountain is falling away from his teammate Sam in 7th place, so that is allowing Ice-T to put real pressure on him. And Scott was also putting real pressure until he slightly tagged that Mercedes, but it's also bringing Foxy Red along as well, and Scopefielder now, so we're starting to get a 5-way battle here for 7th place.
As Cliffy drops to 5th position, he gets passed by both Hercules and Harry. Hercules and throw it down the inside into turn 4, and with Cliffy having to get off the throttle and get himself back onto the track after going slightly wide, that opened the door for Harry, and Harry was able to throw it down the inside going into turn 6 and turn 7. So Cliffy, after starting well, has been relegated back to 5th position, and he's now going to have to go from being the hunted to now he gets to be the hunter and go after these guys. But can Hercules, now he's been set free, can he close in on this gap that's now opened up to 1.7 seconds? So the guys at the top are really starting to push ahead. You can see Gamer is really closing in on KJ. So the current leading pair are really helping each other at the moment just by passing and using each other to essentially tow themselves around the track.
What a battle we've got here for 7th place, and what a move it was for Ice-T. Ice-T, White Fountain's going back. This is incredible. Scott is now all over the back of Ice-T. Scott's trying to send one down the inside, and Ice-T has to give it up, trying to keep it on the inside, and Ice-T is not giving it up. This is unbelievable moments here, and Scott just about bullies his way through there, gets ahead of the Mercedes, and what battling it was. Ice-T got a superb move around White Fountain around the outside, but White Fountain managed to get back round, and Scott came back at him as we've got a yellow flag in sector 1 and 2. But this battle for 7th place is absolutely phenomenal right now.
And Foxy Red is now starting to have a look at the back of Ice-T, and the Alfa Romeo trying to go to the inside of the Mercedes, going down the main straight in towards turn 1. Can he go down the inside? He's going to have to brake late and just about gets it slowed down. The Mercedes is still there. You can see that Ice-T is not relenting the position at all, but now he's got both Alfa Romeos swarming over the back gearbox of that Mercedes. Foxy Red is going to give it another go. He's going and defensive for Ice-T as he just about holds on to the position, but now he's got Foxy Red and Scopefielder, and the man that's won 23 races is currently in 11th position. He's going to be all over he's going to be all over him. But yeah, the battles are well and truly on across the field.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt there. I was riding on board with Foxy, and he was 2 wheels on the grass there trying to attack Ice-T. Just ran out of road, but luckily managed to keep it on the track. This is absolutely phenomenal at the minute. White Fountain has fallen way far away from his teammate now, 3.3 seconds, but he's doing a superb job to keep all these battling cars behind him. He must be saving all his ERS and all his fuel for this long run up to the start finish line, because whenever he gets going there, even with DRS, the cars behind it aren't seem to be catching. But right now, I'm right elbow with Scott, and he's got a really good run on him now. He's going to tuck underneath that Haas. Can he go round the outside? No, he's going to try one down the inside. White Fountain not giving him much room. Bang wheels once again. Scott then going to try one round the outside. Well, surely White Fountain's not going to allow him to get round there, but no. Scott's going to get one round the outside. White Fountain's going to be a run now. Can they get it done? Yes, Scott's finally get it done, and White Fountain's amazing defence finally comes away from him, and Scott does get past him. Now Scott will have to try and pull away because he's going to probably get all this back at him shortly.
I was holding my breath there as they rounded turn 3 at the Curva del Sol, because the rear wheel of the Haas and the front wheel of the Williams were very much interlocked there, and I thought both of them were going to end up spearing into the Armco barrier on the right hand side. But just about, you saw Fountain thought, I'm pretty sure he would have felt the car going from underneath him, backed out of it ever so slightly, and that allowed Scott, who's as you say, new name, new number, new cosmic helmet. The man is completely on a charge at the moment. He's in 7th position. He said he's not feeling too comfortable around here, but he's made some absolutely spectacular moves so far, as his teammate Harry is now closing in on Hercules, and he's using that McLaren to tow him around. And these guys are slowly starting to reel in the pair of the leaders. They were 1.7 seconds back, now it's 1.3, 1.4, just moved up to 1.5 behind. Samuel Pepito is now closing right in on Cliffy. Behind we've got Speed Queen overtaken by Jumper Line and TL44S, so it is all going on here on lap 9.
I'm watching this behind my hands right now. Ice-T was trying to get the move on White Fountain. White Fountain was trying to get the move on Scott. Ice-T ended up on the grass at one point, pushing that hard, and they were nearly 3 wide going into turn 3 there. Scott just about held on to it, but at the moment he's under severe attack here from both Ice-T and White Fountain, and Fox and Reddy's not giving up either. I just cannot keep my eyes off this battle for P7. It's absolutely incredible.
We've got Williams, Haas, Mercedes, Alfa, all in a row, and these guys will all be getting, I tell you what, if you're Scopefielder and you're sitting there, you're going to be getting the toe of all toes off the back of these 4 cars. So he's going to be feeling like he's got 2 engines inside that thing. But here comes down the main straight. Of course, you are caught in that DRS train, so everyone's got it, so it's slightly negated, but Ice-T is getting closer to Fountain. Fountain's not close enough to get it to, or not quite close enough to make a move on Scott. In fact, he locks up the front left going into the first corner and runs out deep onto the gravel. Behind, Foxy Red has had a much nicer exit than Ice-T into the exit of the Curva del Sol. Count the Alfa Romeo. We're looking back at him now. DRS is open for both of the pair, but the man in the centre helmet is having to hold back as he watches Ice-T and White Fountain go at it. And it's all about picking up the pieces here. You want to make your move at the right position. You don't want to send it down the inside. Of course, wing damage around here is absolutely devastating. Up ahead, we've still got KJ Eltink and Gamer fighting over the lead. These two have been separated by half a second for the entire race so far. Harry is still trailing Hercules fourth in 3rd position, 4th, and Harry in 4th, sorry. And then you've got Fountain, Ice-T, Foxy and Scopefielder all within a second. Samuel Pepito running a little bit on with Cliffy half a second behind him, but 2.5 seconds behind these top 4. So the Spaniards starting to drop off. But yeah, the battle for the lead, battle for 3rd, the battle for 7th. What do you want to watch?
Oh, that is a good question. I just wanted to point out Sam Pepito and Cliffy are having a mega battle themselves, just as you were talking about that superb battle just slightly behind. Sam and Cliffy were swapping positions in the centre S's and down into turn 3 as well, and Cliffy not giving up. Sam eventually getting the move done on Cliffy, but Cliffy right on the back of that Haas still, and he's making sure Sam is going to have to work hard for that 5th place. But as you're saying, Harry, there's a little gap before coming together now, isn't there? You've got KJ Eltic and Gamer in their own little group, then you've got Hercules and Harry in his little group, Sam and Cliffy in their little group, and then you've got Scott and his mega train of cars behind him. So at the moment you've got battles galore, but Harry really keeping Hercules honest now, 0.3 of a second behind the McLaren driver as they are heading round for the next DRS run. But Hercules will be looking ahead knowing only 1.6, 1.5 seconds from that battle for the lead. So still opportunities there to take the win here for Hercules.
And Harry's got the inside line on Hercules, and he's going to send it up the inside down the main straight, and he's already passed with DRS before we even get to the start-finish line. A poor exit it must have been for Hercules, and that's allowed Harry up the inside, and he passes the McLaren into third position. So can Harry now start to make some inroads on these guys? Because at the moment Hercules wasn't able to close in. The gap has now moved up to 1.9 seconds. Behind we've got Samuel Pepito and Cliffy still going at it. In fact, Cliffy down to 0.2 of a second, not quite close enough to look at the Spaniard. And then you've got Scott and his band of merry men behind him, and you've got Fountain, Ice-T, Foxy and Schofield. In fact, the two alphas starting to drop back ever so slightly, as I'm sure they're a little bit worried about what's going to go on behind with the Belgian Ice-T and TVH Ice-T as well, Fountain then, yeah, you could see just ran out a slightly wide. He's picked up 3 seconds. So has Charlie. Charlie having an absolutely dreadful race in 17th position. He'll be calling out for a safety car, hoping that someone buries it into the wall and it closes up the pack again. But ahead, we've still got CRG Gamer, 0.6 of a second behind KJ. So KJ holding on to this lead. Then you've got is starting to break a little bit of a gap between himself and Hercules. Cliffy is closing in on Sam. In fact, this is the closest he's been. He's going to look to the inside line. He's going to have the optimum line into the first corner, and Cliffy back up into 5th position. He moves back ahead of Sam. So Sam's going to have to do that all over again if he's going to get back past the second Racing Point. You've got Racing Point in 1st and 5th. You've got two Hasses in 6th and 7th. You've got Scott into the pit lane and Schofield into the pit lane. So Scott making the early jump in as Adri picks up 3 seconds. So yeah, a very early stop from Scott. Lap 13 of 36. He goes on to the medium tyres along with Schofielder. So do they think they're possibly risking a slightly earlier strategy call than some of the others?
What a battle we've got here. Our current reigning champion, John Pline, is under severe pressure. He's on the medium tyres. TL44S on the hard tyres. And TL44S is doing all the pressing right now. John Pline is barely hanging on to his place right now. TL44S is pushing that Renault driver really hard. And at the moment, John Pline is just not looking comfortable at all on those medium tyres. And TL44S, I think if he can get the jump on John Pline, can really stretch his legs on those hard tyres. And imagine him to go long into this race as he's now looking to try and put the pressure down on John Pine. John Pine runs really deep there, so heading up to the start-finish straight now, you'd imagine TL4S with DRS is going to easily get the move done on John Pine, our current champion, and down the inside comes TL4S. The Mercedes driver gets the move done quite comfortably in the end, and TL4S jumps ahead of the Renault driver into 9th place.
Burmeister picks up a killer 5-second penalty, speeding into pit lane. Very easy to do here. You approach it almost like Monza at full speed, and yeah, he picks himself up an extra 5 seconds as TL does make that move up, and the man finished in a very he was delighted to pick up 6th position in his first season here in moved up way down the order. Scott, he's come out in 12th position. He's got a big gap between himself and Speed Queen, so no need to worry about any sort of traffic. So what can the Williams do? He's made that stop much earlier than some of the others. You can see KJ, CRG Gamer, staying out, but into the pit lane comes Harry. So second Williams in, quickly out. So Hercules going for the overcut, and Harry hoping that he can come in and put a new set of boots on and get a little bit of clean air, because we saw last week that KJ Eltink came in and made that stop, got caught in traffic behind Speed Queen and Hercules, and it really hurt his time, and he ended up missing out on picking up the position over Gamer with the undercut. So we'll follow Harry and we'll see where he comes out on track. Of course, you're kept separate from the rest of the pack. He's going to come out just behind the battling pair of Jumperlinen and Speed Queen. In fact, he's going to come out right into the battle of it. But this is the worst case scenario for Harry, because he's once again behind a pair of cars that are battling on track, that will be going for the next few laps on these tyres. They're not on the softs, they're on the mediums, so they'll be doing a few more laps compared to the guys on the softs. So Harry is possibly cost the year. You can see just how much more grip and time he can find in the car, and he'll be able to explore a lot more of the track compared to Speed Queen and Jumperlinen, but he's going to need to clear them as soon as possible.
I was riding on board with Speed Queen, and I wasn't aware of whereabouts Harry was coming out of the pit lane, and seeing Harry on the left-hand side all of a sudden must have given Speed Queen a bit of a fright as well. But yeah, like you said, this is an absolute nightmare scenario as you see KJ, Hercules, Gamer, IC, White Fountain, they're all in the pits now, and this is going to really cost Harry. Harry needs to get this move done on Speed Queen as soon as possible. He's got the arrows, but so is Speed Queen, gets the move done on Speed Queen, and now he's got last season's champion. Oh, Speed Queen touches the inside of Harry, but nobody's really affected there. But Harry's now stuck up the gearbox of that round drive, and here comes Hercules coming out of the pits. Hercules coming out of the pits, and he's right in the way of this battle of Harry and Jumper Line, and Harry just about getting the move done on Jumper Line. But I imagine if Harry didn't have to clear that traffic, Harry would have probably got the jump on Hercules.
Yeah, that's exactly what we saw last week with CRG Gamer and with KJ Eltink, is that Harry this time was the one that got caught in traffic, and it's allowed Hercules to get the jump back on the Williams driver. So it shows you just how much traffic can hurt you on an outlap, and Harry will be crying out to the fact that he was perhaps, a half a second slower, that he probably would have got out, or if he was half a second faster, he would have got out ahead of these guys. Adri picks up 3 seconds, but he's now back behind Hercules. There's Cliffy, surely. Well, I say surely. No, he doesn't. He stays out. So the man in the Racing Point who's in the lead, 16 laps he's done on these soft tyres, he's staying out for another lap. So he's clearly looked after them, and we always thought Jumper Linen was the man that always looked after his tyres. As Hercules clears the Mercedes, as KJ picks up a 3-second time penalty. Now that is huge in when it comes in terms of the race. Behind Harry is closing on TL44S. He's going to need to clear the Mercedes as soon as possible. In fact, he's going to look down the inside. Is there contact between the two? No, it's nice and fair between the Mercedes and the Williams. Harry clears him and gets up, and he can now chase down Hercules, but he's got to get past the German all over again, which is no mean feat.
No, definitely not. And is it me? I wasn't paying attention to the times, but as Hercules lost some time in the pit stop phase to Gamer, because I don't believe they were more than 3.5 seconds off that chasing pack, and now Hercules has got some work to be done here, because 3.3 seconds, I'm sure it wasn't that big a gap. So yeah, this pit stop phase has not been kind to the likes of Harry and Hercules, and they're definitely going to have to get their skates on to try and catch up with the likes of KJ and Gamer. But now KJ, with that 3-second time penalty, there's opportunities here to steal potential second place if Gamer doesn't lose that 3 seconds to KJ. So at the moment, KJ's got some work to do. He's got to really spread his legs now and really go for it, because at the moment, Gamer with no penalties is sitting very pretty right behind KJ.
Samu is looking to overtake Jumper Line and Speed Queen in consecutive corners. He's going to come out behind Jumper Line, and much better traction there out of turn 4, and he's got down the inside of the fin, and the Spaniard takes the inside line as Foxy picks up 3 seconds and gets the move done. Jumper Line is I'm sure he's not enjoying it, but we are enjoying an absolute mega battle between himself and Speed Queen over he's currently 8th and 9th position. These two have been battling lap upon lap for the last 5 laps or so. The Finn will be looking at possibly improving his position, because he's way down the order compared to what we're used to. Harry is now 7/10 of a second behind Hercules, but they're down the order. Cliffy, he's done 17 laps on those soft tyres, plus the 2 laps that he did, an out lap, a flying lap, and an in lap. There we go, finally into pit lane. So it's 20 laps he would have done on those soft tyres. So he's done a remarkable job to keep hold of them, because around here tyre wear can really hurt you if you get to that cliff. It very much does fall off. So yeah, into the box. Where does that bring him back out? He was involved, of course, in the battle earlier with the likes of Harry, Hercules, and battling down throughout the field with Sam. So we'll see if the Racing Point can feed out around about 6th position. Once again, you can see he's coming down the pit lane exit there. You saw the flash of pink across the top of your screen. The Speed Queen picks up 3 seconds, and Cliffy's going to come out behind, as it feels like everyone else does, behind Speed Queen and Jumper Linen.
Yeah, they just seem to be in that position every lap, don't they, for everybody coming out of the pits. And this battle between John Pline and Speed Queen has been absolutely superb. They've really been giving it, and at the moment, it's now the turn of Cliffy to be frustrated and stuck behind him. So while they're going through this middle sector where there's no real opportunity to overtake round here, is it? You've just got to suck it up and stay behind and wait for the DRS moment. Cliffy is going to lose time, really, hand over fist to the likes of Sam and Harry ahead. So at the moment, it's just really frustrating for Cliffy. He just doesn't want to make any mistakes here. He'll get a nice toe off the pair of them as Speed Queen runs deep there. And Cliffy now trying one up the inside before the DRS zone. Speed Queen trying to put the pressure on as much as possible, but surely once Cliffy has DRS, it should be a doddle for him, as here he comes straight past Speed Queen, easy as you like, and jumper line and just out of reach, but I'm sure in the next DRS straight, he should be able to get the work done on jumper line too.
Hercules says 9 to Harry as Harry tries to send it down the inside into turn 1. The German goes side by side, closes the door on the exit of turn 2. Clean racing between the pair, but Harry desperately trying to clear his German counterpart, and the man in the McLaren is not willing to let the current second place man in the championship standings snatch that podium position away from him. We've got Cliffy 0.3 of a second behind Jumper Liner now, so we'll go on board with them and stable gaps between a lot of drivers on track. Cliffy, of course, on those fresh tyres, we'll be hoping to clear Jumper Line, who has been out there since the start, much like Speed Queen, much like TL44S and Beck 9000 on tyres. They started Jumper Line and goes deep, and that's going to allow Cliffy up the inside, and he gets the move done even before they get to DRS. But what's going to have happened there, we'll see, is Jumper Line actually got the DRS before, he got the move done before we even got to the DRS line. So Jumper Line has DRS, can come back at Cliffy, and so Cliffy's going to have to go really defensive, because Jumper Line is going to get a double hit of DRS here, but it looks as though on those used tyres he's not quite got the exit or the traction on exit, so Cliffy may have just about got away with that one, almost made the move too early.
It just sounds like you've got a few mic issues there. Sorry to tell you that, Gareth, but I'll just go carry on with telling you what's happening just further ahead. Harry has got the move done on Hercules, but the problem is now Hercules and Harry are having this mega battle, and it's just allowing the front two to run away with it. And now Harry is 5.5 seconds behind CRG Gamer. CRG Gamer not really making any inroads on KJ as FPL Charlie picks up 3-second time penalties. But so the moment Hercules will obviously get another DRS attempt on Harry, and all it's doing is costing them an opportunity now to try and attack for the front two positions. As you'll see, Hercules any moment now with DRS will have another run at Harry, and Harry will have to go defensive once again. And even though they're showing a bit of pride and passion, it's really starting to hamper their opportunity to win this race.
Hopefully I'm back and all working with you. Unfortunately, the global pandemic is not helping with local bandwidth, so that may be making it a little bit of a strain on any sort of capacity internet-wise. So hopefully we'll be sticking with you. Please let me know, Sab, obviously, if there's any more issues in the future. Behind, we've got Scott gets past Speed Queen. So Speed Queen drops down. I say gets past, but no, she does not. She moves back up ahead of him, so she's not willing to give up the position. She's done 21 laps on those mediums. TL44S in 6th position, equally he stayed out there. We've got 14 laps left to go in the race, so plenty of racing left to be done. Scott is going to look to the inside, and he's like a wasp at a picnic. Scott, he just finds a place to be everywhere. He's always in your mirror, he's always in the way, and unfortunately the almost eternal dance partners, these two. They've been battling on track, whether it's been for first position, whether it's been for last position, for what feels like the last 3 or 4 seasons. So Scott is going to look to clear Speed Queen as soon as possible. He's going to have DRS on her this time, and the Red Bull is not really going to have too much of an answer. She moves to the outside to try and close the door, but Scott gets around and uses that DRS to send it down the inside and up into 8th position.
What I'm finding really fascinating is what a good job TL44S has done on those hard tyres. 22 laps he's done on those hard tyres, and Sam hasn't dropped him yet. TL44S is hanging on to the back of that Haas car. Sam doing 8 laps on medium tyres. So imagine once TL44S comes in, yes, he'll drop down, but he's going to be very fast towards the end of this race. So it'll be very interesting to see how he gets on. TL44S running nicely in 6th place at the minute on those really worn hard tyres.
Yep, as we see the field starting to spread out a little bit now. You've got Hercules almost dropping outside of DRS, which would be the last, or we've got Speedway and Ice T that are just inside it. Apart from that, everyone's starting to fall outside of DRS, which is a bit of a shame because that does open up the pack a little bit. So we'll see if the race comes back to us later. Of course, you've got TL44S, you've got the likes of Speed Queen and Beck that have still got to come in. You can see that Scott is now starting to close in on Cliffy, who's 1.3 seconds behind TL44S. But yeah, as you say, TL doing a very nice job indeed in 6th position, staying with Sam and keeping that gap well in that inside a second. And of course, DRS around here is a massive boost with that. But into the box comes Speed Queen. She comes in and puts on a set of the soft tyres to run to the end. Fountain picks up 3 seconds. And what we can't forget is that KJ has that 3-second time penalty. So he's only got 1.2 second lead. Gamer will be well aware that the Dutchman is currently sitting on that 3-second penalty. And he'll be quite happy to sit where he is. As Fountain retires from the session. Where is that on track? We'll find out.
Safety car.
Wow, that is huge news here, because that is going to really play into the hands of the likes of TL44S. Yet to pit, he's going to be able to come in and make effectively a free pit stop, and into the box comes the leaders. So that's worked out quite nicely for them. They were just coming up the main straight, and will we see? It looks as though we're just about going to see all the teams in, I would imagine, for a set of softs to run to the end. And we shouldn't see any double stacking, I would expect, because perhaps the Williams, if Scott comes in, so the Williams might be slightly affected. It looks as though they're just going to get away with it. But I tell you what, the 2 Alfa Romeos, if they end up double stacking, so Foxy, you can see him crawling into the pit lane, and as he tries to hold up any sort of loss in the box, but out of the box. And in fact, it's Cliffy that stayed out. He did a lot longer stint on those soft tyres at the start, and he decided to stay out there on old mediums, as Adri has been disqualified for ignoring yellow flags.
Wow.
Which I've not seen before.
No.
And Adri unless that we can see he's up there ahead of the safety car. But unfortunate for Spaniard there, who's really going to suffer with that one. So and a really unfortunate end to the race for the one of the Toro Rossos, which, as we said at the start of the stream, is really compiling what has been a pretty poor season for both of those drivers.
One person who this has massively benefited is TL44S. He was on those hard tyres. As soon as that safety car come out, he was straight into the pits, along with Sam, along with everybody else. So now he is on equal status with all the front runners, apart from obviously Cliffy, on those soft tyres. But I did notice KJ Elting has come out on a set of medium tyres, which I didn't notice till just now. But yeah, TL44S has benefited massively, and if he can keep up this sort of form, what he was doing on those really worn tyres, he's got a real opportunity to score big tonight. And backing all of these people up, Cliffy, could he be doing his teammate any favours now? With Gamer just behind in second place, can Cliffy try and back the Renault driver into his teammate? It's going to be fascinating to see what happens when the safety car just does come into the pits. Yeah,
he's definitely going to have his wits about him, because he's going to have some of the fastest guys here in Invictus absolutely in sways and across his gearbox. So the racing point as Beck picks up 3 seconds for multiple warnings under the safety car, so that's slightly embarrassing there for the Scotsman, running out slightly wide. And of course we know that running out and using a little bit of extracurricular circuit under the safety car does get you slapped with a penalty, so everyone has to behave themselves. But it will be up to Cliffy to get us started in I would imagine a lap's time, because the safety car usually lets the rest of the pack close up. So we've got Burmeister is the last one that's running. I believe that's Adrian Lockdock that's currently coming up to turn 4 now. And apart from that, I think we might have one more lap under the safety car. As you see, a lovely shot there of the Toro Rosso disappearing and the leaders appearing. So great shot there on camera. It's one of the first ones they've done here on that game. But one more lap under the safety car, I'd imagine, which is going to give us, Sab, a tantalising 9-lap sprint to the end.
Yeah, it's going to be like a qualifying session. Everybody going for fast laps, trying to outdo one another. And the one person I'd say this doesn't benefit this safety car is KJ Elting, because before this came out, he had about a 5-6 second lead over third place, and with that 3 second time penalty, he had a net second place if Gamer wasn't going to get dropped. But now, KJ Elting, if he doesn't pull away quickly on those medium tyres, he's going to find himself falling well down the order with those 3 second time penalties to be added on the end. Obviously, if nobody else picks up any time penalties from now to the end of the race. So KJ Elting on those medium tyres as well, he's going to be under some pressure now, especially with Harry behind on those soft tyres, Hercules as well as no slouch, and Sam and TL4 Wrestle wanted to try and stay on the back of this lot.
And you've got to think that perhaps for KJ Elting, the pole position is a bit of a poison chalice, because every time he started on the pole, he's unfortunately have found something in the race that has caused him to drop back off of the podium. So hopefully that's not the case for him tonight. But yeah, he's dropped back behind CRG Gamer. He's in third position on the medium tyres, and yeah, I hadn't even noticed that. But obviously CRG Gamer jumping him in the pit lane, so a move for the lead in the pit lane. So perhaps the Racing Point being held up by everyone else coming into the box. So yeah, a slightly fortuitous way for Gamer to get the move done, as Burr picks up 5 seconds for a collision with Charlie underneath the safety car. A safety car is in this lap, so it's now time for Cliffy to well, essentially control the pack. And does he do what Max Verstappen does? Does he leave it until the last minute? Because you get such a mega tow going down towards turn one. You want to leave it until the last minute, so he's going to keep everyone on tenterhooks as we round this the second to last corner. Clippy's he's dropped the hammer, he's gone early, so he's going to give everyone a decent opportunity. KJ is going to get a good run on CRG Gamer for second position. He's going to look to the inside, and is he going to go to the inside? Contact between the two, he's going to go deep. Is he going to hit his teammate? He just misses him. But behind, you've got Harry now battling with Gamer. But wow, KJ Elting and CRG Gamer just about managed to hold off contact.
I think Harry was licking his lips then. I thought, I was right above his head, I thought KJ Elting were going to run into Gamer, and look at that, Cliffy has allowed his teammate ahead. And now, can Cliffy hold off Gamer and even push Gamer into the grasps of Harry behind? Harry tantalisingly nearly got the move done on Gamer, but Gamer just about held him off. So at the moment, KJ Elting, he had to get the move done, didn't he? He had to get going early on, and he just about did it, didn't he?
Oh, you could see the wobble of the Racing Point and the Renaults. They've made contact down the main straight into towards turn one, and Gamer has now got himself another Racing Point in front of him. But of course, on those soft tyres, he should have superior traction compared to 9-lap-old mediums that Cliffy's currently wearing. And will he be able to close in on the Racing Point? You can see it's looking pretty much elementary. He's going to get a really good run on him. Is Cliffy going to go defensive? No, he's going to leave the door open. Gamer's going to send it down the inside, but Cliffy holding on to the position. Gamer's going to try and set him up, and he's got a really decent run here. Look at that, so much more grip on those soft tyres. Goes down the inside line, up into second position, and he says goodbye to that Racing Point, who has to relinquish the position. So Cliffy, after starting first under the safety car, is now dropped back to third position, and he's now going to have Harry, Hercules and Sam for company in just a few laps time.
This is a nightmare scenario for Harry now, because Cliffy is looking to be a bit of a roadblock right now on those medium tyres, and Harry's going to have to get past that Racing Point pretty much on this lap, because if he wants to stick with Gamer, he's been tagged. He's been tagged by Hercules. That's right on board with Harry, and he was suddenly sideways briefly. Hercules must have tagged him ever so much, but Harry just about held on to it. But yeah, Harry needs to get past, because at this moment, as you can see, Gamer is already pulling away from Cliffy, and that is already building a gap for Harry. But now, Hercules is going to put Harry under severe pressure of that small tag. Now Hercules is going to go round the outside of Harry. Can Hercules get the move done? It's whoever breaks late and Harry just about holds on to this. But this is that battle once again I was talking about. Harry and Hercules fighting amongst themselves, and that's allowing the front runners to get away. And Harry having to focus on Hercules is not getting the move done on Cliffy.
And that's open door for Sam to think about it. He's got a yellow in sector 1, possibly for Lozak or Burr, or it looks like it may be Lozak that's down in 18th position as Hercules picks up 3 seconds as well. So he adds his name to the drivers of penalties as Charlie gets up the inside of Schofielder going up the hill there. So good move from Charlie. He's up into 12th position. We were saying that he was probably asking for a safety car, but he may be able to sneak into the points there in 12th position. He's got a couple of drivers ahead of him. But yeah, Sam closing in on Hercules, and yeah, you could see when Hercules and Harry were going side by side, possibly a little bit of a recompense for the German for his squeeze on Harry a few laps or with a few corners before, and then equally earlier in the race as he pushed out Hercules wide into turn 1, Harry up into T1, got the move done, and now Hercules is going to have to defend behind. We've got a jump for the lead. Sorry, we just missed it. Gamer's got down the inside and he's taken the lead back off KJ Eltink, and yeah, sorry we missed that one. I was focusing so much on what was going down throughout the rest of the field. We missed CRJ Gamer getting back past the Dutchman KJ Eltink for the lead of the race. Of course, KJ is sitting on that penalty. Harry is going 3 wide with a Racing Point and a McLaren into turn 4. We caught the back of that. Who's going to come out on top of that one? Hercules is going to have to go deep, and he's now lost the position to Sam, who's gone out against Sam. Whoa! And Hercules collected, and that's put the Spaniard into the wall. We've got yellow in sector 2, and that is unfortunately for the Haas. What a Oh, it was so unfortunate for Sam. He saw the opportunity to go to the inside, and we're back under safety car once again for Charlie. And Charlie's gone. Oh, we've had a big collision. We've got Scott has picked up a 5-second penalty as well. We've got Charlie missing a front wheel. We've got Sam into the wall. We've got it's chaos here on lap 31. We missed the battle for the lead, and luckily our blushes have been spared somewhat, but unfortunately not so much. Jumper line, and Charlie TL44S out of the race. A devastating blow for the Mercedes driver after what has been a fantastic race for him. You can see he must be absolutely despondent with that, and yeah, unfortunately as into the pit lane does come Hercules. He's going to have to box for a new wing after contact with Sam. Sam went up the inside, and where it would have been the outside line in towards turn 6. There was contact between himself and Hercules. It sent Sam into the wall, and the Haas out. You can see a couple of other drivers into the box. You've got Hercules, Foxy Red, Sam and Burmeister all making a second stop. You might as well if you've got fresh softs, but it is going to drop them to the back of the pack. But we've got CRG Gamer now leading from KJ, Harry in 3rd position, Cliffy down to 4th, Speed Queen in 5th position.
She's going well, isn't she, Speed Queen? She's kept pretty quiet. She's had a battle with Jumper Linen and a few others tonight, but she's got the job done so far. But this works out nicely for Harry, because I was right on board with Harry for a lot of it, and Harry was getting really frustrated behind Cliffy and had to force his way past in the end, legally of course, and got the move done. But this now allows Harry to have a proper run at KJ and Gamer now, and not have to worry about getting past the other Racing Point. It was proving to be a bit of a roadblock. But yeah, Speed Queen, she'll be licking her lips here, because Cliffy on those 13-old medium tyres, she's got an opportunity here to potentially steal 4th place, and if she can keep her pace up, KJ is on that 3-second time penalty with 4 laps got to go at the end of this race. Who knows? We could end up seeing a Speed Queen on the podium. Who knows? Anything could happen. This race has just gone absolutely crazy, hasn't it, for the last few laps? And like you say, unfortunately we've lost some people there. I didn't quite see who was to blame in all that, but when there was 3 wide going into turn 4, you just knew there was probably going to end up being in tears, and unfortunately that was the case. But yeah, CRG Gamer currently in the lead, now leading the cars around. It'd be interesting to see what sort of tactic he's going to bring. Will he do a Cliffy and Bolt early, or will he do like what you said, leave it like a Max Verstappen, leave it to the very last second and then go? Because it looked like when Cliffy tried it early, it kind of caught him out somewhat.
And yeah, I'm gonna guess purely on what we saw happening is that perhaps with Hercules and Sam's contact, that we saw maybe a couple of the other drivers scatter, and as soon as you get onto the grass here, it's very easy to get the car turned around, and that's why we may have seen the likes of Charlie, TL44S and Jumper Line and come into contact. Of course, then you had the likes of Foxy Red with the yellow tanks. You had Scott, who's now got a big old 5-second penalty for hitting someone under the safety car, which may be removed after the race, of course, if he can provide the footage for that. But yeah, we're now going to have, and we were saying we would have a 9-lap sprint to the end. We're now going to have a 3-lap sprint to the end. If the safety car comes in this lap. So what a tantalising way to end this race. But yeah, as you were talking about, it's really on CRG Gamer here to control the pace, and does he leave it until last minute? With his safety car is in this lap, so if I was Gamer, I would hold off until I was right up towards the start-finish line before I went, to give yourself, you really don't want KJ or Harry any opportunity of getting any decent tow going into turn 1. So you can see the Renault weaving his tyres side to side. He's going to try and psych out the rest of the pack. When's he going to go? And there we go, he's gone early again, and you can see it's taken KJ with him. So going early is going to allow the rest of the field a decent amount of tow. KJ goes to the outside, he's going to sweep around him. Is KJ, surely he's going to stick with that move. He just about holds on to the position, and that would have been a spectacular move on the medium tyres, but that's allowed Harry to close in as Hercules picks up another 5-second penalty. So Hercules racking up some late penalties, the German not ending the race particularly well after what was a pretty stellar race from him earlier on. But yeah, KJ Elting with 3 laps left to go has got a lot of work to do, because he's going to need to close up. As we've got Burmeister retiring from the session in 13th. We're back under yellow. We can't go, surely won't go back under safety car once again. It would take us to finishing under yellow, but Burmeister in the Ferrari retiring, and the Dutchman ends a race that saw him running at the back quite often, so it wasn't a great race for him. But KJ is now starting to push Gamer, but this is allowing Harry to stay with them, and I believe Harry doesn't have a penalty, so that would once again mean that Harry and Gamer would share the top 2 positions.
I think what happened was there was an incident between Foxy Red and Burmeister. As I flicked down the order, Foxy Red was in the gravel, so I believe Burmeister and Foxy Red had some sort of incident, but I didn't actually see what. But I was just looking, KJ Elting is doing a stellar job, isn't he, on those medium tyres. You got to remember, TRG Gamer is on softer rubber, and KJ Elting is really getting to it. And at the moment, Harry is slowly falling away from this battle. It's now up to 8/10 of a second, and Cliffy keeping tabs on that as well, just 6/10 behind. So at the moment, Harry not really making an impression on this battle for the lead, but whatever it stays like this, he's got a net 2nd place.
And we're on the penultimate lap of the race, 35 of 36, 1 and a little bit left to go, 1 and a sector left to go in this one. We've got CRG Gamer bidding to win his 4th race of the season, and his 2nd in a row after taking victory in Germany last week. And he's got KJ Eltink, who was hoping to finish on the podium for the first time after making it a hat-trick of pole positions. But we might in fact see Harry or Cliffy on the podium with not the racing point we were expecting to see, but Cliffy after that great qualifying result. But KJ, he's going to get one final run as Hercules retires down in 12th position, as Adri equally retires. So there must have been another collision between the pair in sector 3, but KJ, he had one final run at CRG Gamer. He's not going to get another chance, you've got to think, unless it's up towards the line and have a Toro Rosso Mercedes-style drag. But Gamer gets much better traction on the exit, and he's allowing to stretch those legs and stretch the lead out. We're now down to only, 12 runners left in this race after starting with 19. The last 5 laps have been absolutely frenetic. We've seen so many retirements, collisions galore, several drivers trying moves and late on trying to make up positions. As you've got Foxy Red, Scott is in 10th position, but he's sitting on that penalty. But behind you've still got a battle going on with several drivers. Ice-T is is pretty close behind Speed Queen, Scopefield behind that, but then you've got CRG Gamer, who is coming around to the second to last corner. He's coming up to Junkow, turn 12, for the final time to climb the hill, and the Renault driver is going to make it 2 and 2 as he completes the first half of the season. He's going to have taken 4 race wins out of 6, and congratulations to CRG Gamer, your race winner here in Brazil. KJ Elting drops off of the podium again, with Harry in second, Cliffy in third, Ice-T is in fifth position, Sam in sixth, Speed Queen drops down to seventh, Scope is in eighth, Beck is going to pick up a very unlikely 2 points. Congratulations to the man in the Toro Rosso. Scott is in 10th position. And Foxy Red is going to finish as the only man, or Lozak finished 1 lap down off the pace. So Foxy Red is going to finish out of the points in another unfortunate race for the Alfa Romeo driver. But I mean, surprises throughout the field. Ice-T, great result from him. Cliffy, first podium of the season for him. And Beck 9000 will be, I'm sure, absolutely delighted picking up his first points of the season with that 9th place finish of the Toro Rosso.
This race doesn't half remind me of last season's F1 race in real F1. We had a super battle all the way up and then it just all exploded right at the end, and similar again, and unfortunately it was a race to forget at the end for Hercules. But huge congratulations to Gamer. His first half of the season, he has just been the man to beat, hasn't he, as he goes and steps up on that top step of the podium. And Harry snatching second place eventually, and Cliffy, we said at the beginning, if he qualifies better off, he could get a podium, and he's done exactly that, so congratulations to Cliffy as well.
Yeah, and there must be something about Brazil, because that's 3 races that we've had here as part of IRL F1 that have been absolutely spectacular. So yeah, let's come back to Interlagos again on F1 2020. Congratulations to our podium of CRG Gamer, Harry BR 25 and Cliffy 7765. You can see Gamer takes the win in 46 minutes 19 seconds, just over a second ahead of Harry. And Cliffy, who knocked KJ Eltink off of the podium, that penalty he picked up early in the race has really cost him, once again dropped him off of the podium. Ice-T, best result of the season for him in 5th position. Sam, another 6th place for him. Speed Queen in 7th after dropping down after penalties. Scopefielder picks up some more points in 8th. Beck picks up his first points and Toro Rosso's first points of the season in 9th. Scott is in 10th after picking up a couple of late penalties. Foxy Red is the only driver to finish on the lead lap. Lozak finished 1 lap down, and unfortunately then we lost a whole heap of drivers. And we will find out, I'm sure, and keep tabs on the social media channels for any of POVs of the chaos that ensued with about 3 or 4 laps left to go. We saw the likes of Charlie, Hercules. It's a disaster end to McLaren for that race there. So I'm sure Sab's got a couple of questions for our podium sitters, but before they get in here, you've got to think that that's got to be curtains for both the drivers' hopes for Hercules and possibly for McLaren Constructors' Championships.
Yeah, it was a real race to forget for McLaren tonight. Hercules was going well, and unfortunately just all unhinged very, very quickly for him, didn't it? And you've got to think now it's going to probably be, for the constructors at least, between the Williams and the Renault team, as Harry now joins the session. I imagine the rest of the drivers will be joining us shortly. But going into the second half of this season, we're going to have to hope for the Drivers' Championship's sakes that Gamer slips up, but you don't want to say that, obviously. But as the older guys join now, we will welcome them into the chat. Good evening, guys. I just want to ask you to remind you to put your voice settings to allow to be shared so everybody at home can hear you, and we will get the questions and interviews underway. I'd like to start off with our tonight's race winner, CRG Gamer 62. That's 4 wins out of 6 this season going into the season break. Is that pretty much more than what you expected, or were you expecting a bit of tougher fight in the first half of this season?
I wouldn't say it wasn't a tough fight. I mean, tonight in particular, when I came out of the pits, I was thinking, oh no, KJ's pulling away, it isn't going well. But no, it's been really enjoyable. I think it's all come together quite well for the finishing positions I've had. So it's been a good first half of the season from my part, and hopefully it will continue. It's definitely been challenging. I know KJ for the last few races has really got up there, so it's going to be a close fight all the way, I think.
Yeah, well, congratulations. It certainly has been a joy to watch you so far. And I'd like to move on to our second place, Harry. Harry, good evening. You were just a little bit off that fight for the lead throughout the race, but with KJ's penalty and that safety car coming in the end, you managed to make the jump on KJ. Do you think that was the best you could have given, or could you have got that much closer?
I don't know. It's quite hard. I was doing quite well on the soft tyres in the first stint. Me and Hercules was just about half a second up DRS of these two, and then I tried the undercut to get back in it, but I came out behind about 3 cars, so then it dropped my horse back. So then looked like it was just going to be a race for third. But then the safety car, I had 2 warnings since lap 4, so did well not to get a penalty. But yeah, as soon as the safety car bunched everything up and I realised I had a penalty, I was looking at Gamer because obviously I knew that with KJ having a penalty, that position would be given to me. So if the chance was there on Gamer, I'd have a look. But it didn't really happen. I wasn't that great on that last set of soft tyres. But no, I'll take second.
Well, congratulations, Harry. Again, like I just said to Game, it's been thoroughly enjoyable watching you racing so far this season, and hopefully more of the same going to second half of the season. And to move on to Cliffy. Good evening, Cliffy. It's been an absolutely thrilling first half of the season watching yourself. I've rode on board with you for many a race now, seen you starting near the back and getting into points in some incredible races. And tonight we discussed about if you were going to qualify a bit higher up, you had a potential to score really good points, or even potentially a podium. And it turns out you did score a podium. You managed to jump your teammate KJ. So how was the race for yourself, and how does it feel to be on the podium?
The race was pretty hectic. Obviously, 2 late safety cars really put me under pressure. But yeah, in terms of me starting at the back, I'd normally do it for fun, but I just thought maybe this week it was quite frustrating in previous races because obviously you get caught in the midfield and the leaders just get like a 10-second gap in 3 laps, and there's no way I'm making that up with the likes of Game and Harry with their race pace. So I just thought I'd maybe practice for Brazil, and yeah, I'm just glad I finally got that podium.
Well, congratulations. You thoroughly deserved it. And I just want to say again, some of your racing and overtakes have been absolutely superb to watch this season. And just to move on back to Gamer, it's been a really solid start to you, like I pointed out, to this first half of the season. Do you have any standout moments from this first half of the season? And what do you aim to do in the second half?
That's a tough one. I'd probably say tonight, actually, because it's probably my least expected win of the lot. Before that safety car came out, it would have been very hard to catch up to KJ and get in the DRS. That's what I was trying to do when I first came out of the pits. I was using all my ERS to try and get back in the DRS. So I'd probably say tonight. I think the safety car definitely helped. It would have been interesting without to see if I could have actually caught or not. But yeah, this is probably the best one because it's the most unexpected and I've probably had to work the hardest for it. So yeah, I'll say this one.
Nice. So, Gareth, yeah, it's another win for Gamer, and going into the season break, he's definitely the man to beat going into the second half of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. Job very much 50% of the way they're done. So it's stretches that lead out, but just can't quite shake off Harry, can he? And the man, whenever he seems to be finishing on the top step, he's always got that Williams there for company. So Harry not willing to let this championship die just yet. And with Monaco, of course, the final round of the season, don't we just wish that it goes down to that one? So hopefully Harry can take the battle to him in the second half of the season. And but apart from that, it's been a mega first half for Gamer. Yes, both of Harry and Gamer had that poor race in Spain, but both of the pair of them have been on the podium every race apart from that so far this season. Apart from Harry being third in Belgium, it'll either be one of those two, first or second, which shows just how consistent both of them have been. Behind, who knows, could be anyone. You've got Scott, Hercules, both had dreadful races tonight. Sam off the points as well. Charlie out way down the order as well. So behind, the battle will rage on, I'm sure, for third place. And Yeah, it's gonna be a absolutely crazy second half of the season, and if it's anything like that race, which is comfortably the most fun that we've had watching a league race here in IRL F1 in a long, long time, then we're in store for an absolute treat because that was so much fun to watch, and it was a real shame that there was so much going on. We missed countless amounts of things going whilst we were watching overtakes in one position. We had overtakes in another position, so yeah, sorry if you didn't make it on stream at points here, guys. We were doing our best, but wow, well, what a race! What a race from the guys! What a race from Gamer to take the win away from KJ Eltink and KJ. As I said, Poison Chalice. It seems perhaps starting in second position, not pole, because whenever he started on the pole, he's finished off of the podium due to all sorts of different reasons now. So yeah, he will be a man to watch out for in the second six or the next six races of the season, which of course will happen starting in Hungary in 2 weeks' time. So 1 week off, starting from next week. So next Monday, of course, feel free to take a chill and work back through the playlist and watch some incredible races. We've got not only the full races but the highlights on YouTube, and you go to youtube.com/Invictus Racing League to find that out. Or of course, you go to invictusracingleague.com and find out the league tables, find out how everything's going on as Gamer currently gets up to, I believe it will be 75 points in the championship for him, and Harry moving up with 12 points will take him up to 61. So the gap is growing ever so slightly, race upon race. So Harry needing to do his all to catch Gamer and the Renault team over the second half of the season. And yeah, a fantastic one tonight. Really, really enjoyed that, Sab. And I'm not sure about you, but Brazil always gives us spectacular racing.
It really does, and I absolutely love being part of the commentary team since I've joined it, doing the Brazilian Grand Prix, because every time you just don't know what it's going to give us, and tonight was a good proof of why it's so good and why this league this season has been so good. We couldn't capture everything because there was so much going on. I was watching that superb battle for 7th place for so long, a 5-car battle at one point. You had a great battle at the front as well, and battles outside of the top 10. So, like I said earlier in the stream, if only we could give you more camera angles, more availability to be able to see what's going on in the race. But that's a testament to these guys and what they do in this league so far this season, that they give us all this action, they give us great close racing, and I personally cannot wait for the second half of the season now. I'm a little bit frustrated that we're going to have a season break. I want more action, but that's just me being greedy. But when we go into the second half of the season, I'm sure these guys will be doing their best once again to make us cheer, make us cry, make us laugh, and everything else in between, like they have done so far this season.
Yeah, it's been comfortably the best first half of the season we've had in Invictus on a Monday night for a very, very long time. So yeah, huge congratulations goes to the likes of Gamer and Harry, who have made it super competitive but also super fun to watch. And of course, it's not the only racing we have here in Invictus for the rest of the week. Tomorrow night, Realistic Performance with Tim and Malc in the box. You can catch them here on YouTube from 8 p.m. tomorrow night. And on Wednesday, of course, you can join F2 or F3. Choose your race. And you've got James and Dan covering F2 and Harry and Charlie covering F3. And then on Sunday evening, 9:30 p.m, you can go to twitch.tv and we will be running our Invictus IRL F1 XBOX League. So the guys running over on the Xbox will be going on twitch.tv, and you can find that at 9:30 p.m. over on there. And of course, you can find that all out and find all the links for them on our socials: Invictus RL on Twitter, Invictus Racing League on Facebook and on Instagram, and of course going to the website invictusracingleague.com, and you can get yourself on the grid for F1 2020. And we will of course be accepting applications and submissions all throughout the rest of the second half of the season. And of course, guys, if you're a member of the community and you'd like to get involved in the Nations Cup, which is a Invictus branded ending to the F1 2019 game, make sure you go to the website where you can find out more about that for all of those involved in the Invictus community. But for us tonight, for the first half of the season, Thank you very much for joining us. Great to have you on board. Make sure if you've enjoyed the video to like and subscribe. Always helps us out, and you've been absolutely superb in your support of us. Of course, we'd like to make sure that everyone is staying safe, keeping happy, and keeping positive in this time of very much uncertainty and negativity. So yeah, hopefully we can bring you a little bit of entertainment on a Monday night. Sorry for any audio issues. Unfortunately, local bandwidth is not particularly spectacular at the moment. So yeah, hopefully it wasn't too much of an issue, and we were able to bring you the majority of what was an absolutely brilliant race here in Brazil for round 6 of the IRL F1 League. And that is us done for the first half of the season. We'll be back in 2 weeks' time, just 30 minutes southeast of Budapest in the Hungaroring for the Hungarian Grand Prix. Round 7 is coming up, and yeah, so 1 week away for these guys to practice. But for the rest of the week and for the slight break, have a great time. Stay safe, stay happy, and we will see you very, very soon.